The most important thing to keep in mind when checking fish for doneness is to check early and often to ensure the fish does not overcook and become dry. There are a few ways to do this. First, a common practice, especially when cooking thicker pieces of fish, is to gauge the cooking time by about 10 minutes per inch. However, this is not the best practice, as it will depend on how much heat you are applying and the type of fish you are cooking. It also depends on how you like your fish cooked, so it's best to check it well before you think it's ready. Most fish should be cooked only until it is just done. However, certain types of fish that have dense flesh, such as salmon or tuna, can be enjoyed undercooked or even raw. Salmon is especially succulent and the flavor is more pronounced when cooked only to about 120 degrees Fahrenheit or until it looks like this. This means the flesh inside should still be translucent in the middle and opaque around the edges. This is especially important when cooking lean salmon, otherwise it will begin to dry out. Tuna is another type of fish that is often only lightly seared and completely raw in the middle. If you choose to serve your fish this way, for food safety reasons, it must be extremely fresh. One of the best ways to test any fish for doneness is to look inside the flesh. Gently separate the flakes at the thickest part and peek inside to see where it's at. Then remove once it's done to your liking. Most white fish should be opaque almost all the way through. If it is still very translucent like this, it means the fish is undercooked and will have a rubbery or chewy texture. When properly cooked, it should be opaque all the way through like this. Another great way to test fish for doneness is to become accustomed to feeling it. As the fish cooks, the flesh will become firmer. When pressed, raw or undercooked fish will feel somewhat soft and won't spring back. The flesh will become more resistant and will spring back more quickly as it cooks. Properly cooked fish should also flake along its natural seams but still be juicy inside. You can see, when pressed, the layers of flesh just separate. Even with fish that is served slightly undercooked, you can see how it separates into natural flakes. Overcooked or dry fish will flake and fall apart easily like this. With fillets, you can also test for doneness by using a spatula. Simply slide the spatula under the thickest part of the fish. If the fish begins to separate naturally like this, it's done. When cooking fish that contains bones, pull on a bone from the thickest part to see if it releases easily. If the bone doesn't come out easily, it means the connective tissues haven't dissolved enough to release it. So the fish will need to be cooked further until the bone releases. With thicker pieces of fish, you could also insert a thermometer into the thickest part. This will just help to familiarize yourself with what to look and feel for as the fish reaches the proper and/or desired temperature. Finally, fish should be served hot and as soon as it is cooked. Because its muscle structure is uniformly layered and not bundled like meat, it is not necessary to let fish rest to relax the tissue. As the fish is being served, any carryover cooking will finish the cooking process by the time the plated dish reaches the table. Determining fish doneness can be tricky at first, but practice makes perfect. So focus your attention to what is happening to the fish during the cooking process. And remember to check early and often to ensure moist and juicy fish.